Hello and welcome to that Peter Crouch podcast with me, Peter Crouch. I've got Chris Stark, got your name there. Hello. And Statman Dave, they're both with me, you all right?
Yeah, good, Dave.
Yeah, very good. Been passing the pod this week.
You have personally?
I personally been doing it. I thought, you know what, if I tell the listeners to do it, I've got to do it myself. So we had a guy selling me internet. He now knows about the podcast. And one of my taxi drivers, Dan, I think it was, he also knows about the pod now. So done some good work. That's 2 people in a week, and that's a decent start.
Quick reminder, everyone, we got Crouchy's England Man of the Match champagne on offer for the most ingenious way that we see somebody passing the pod. We've had so many people get in touch about this, and we're going to give the bottle away on the final episode of the series. Decent gift, that, when you think about it.
I think it's quite good. I mean, Ab said to me the other day, we was in there, and she said, why on earth would you give that away? And I thought, actually, what am I doing? I've said it now, and I'm not going back on it.
Yeah, exactly. You've committed now. You're in. So we've got a few messages from listeners who've been passing the pods. Shall I kick this off? Message from, they want to be anonymous, this person. I work at Iceland and was packing an online order whilst listening to the Joe Cole episode. This particular customer wanted some pancakes. Here we go. So I stuck a handwritten note saying, pass the pod, Peter Crouch podcast on Spotify, onto the pancakes.
Ah, superb.
Yeah,
that's good. Handwritten note.
Surprised we haven't had a pancake company get in touch. Is there a prominent pancake company? Because I could be the face, couldn't I?
But I don't know. There's no prominent ones that spring to mind.
No, but that's opportunity. This is like when Birdseye went, you know what? I should be the face of breaded fish.
What, with Captain Birdseye?
Yeah, and they've gone, yeah, but there's no prominent companies around. You go, I'll make my own. Stark Pancakes will be the new one.
Okay.
Maybe.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, maybe. But no, look, that's great passing of the pod. Good work, Anonymous.
Should we move on to another message, this time from Ollie? I'm a gardener, listens to the pod whilst working. I passed the pod on to a 96-year-old customer who inquired who I was playing on my speaker. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the internet, a computer, or a mobile. So I went home, downloaded your episode onto an old phone. He now loves the pod and is working away through all of them. Thanks for cheering him up.
Yeah. It's very old.
Yeah.
96.
96.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Fair play.
You get a letter from the Queen at 100, don't you? Do you reckon you'll live that long?
No, God no.
When do you reckon you'll go?
Early.
You reckon?
I'm like a Great Dane. You know, like Great Danes, like their hearts just they can't deal with how big they are. But you know what? I've had a great life. I've loved every minute of it.
Message from Layla. I know nothing about football, but find your pod weirdly refreshing when listening to you chatting in the pub. I've now passed the pod to my dad and brothers who are both Spurs season ticket holders and my husband who supports Arsenal. I've also passed the pod on to my girlfriends who have followed me by passing it on to the football lovers in their lives. Fantastic.
Yeah, I like this. I always like this when, you know, when people who don't like football like listening.
Also, I love that family dynamic there. So dad and brother of Layla support Spurs, but her fella supports Arsenal.
Yeah,
imagine the shit he must get.
Oh, a bit of daughterhousery there.
It is
bringing
daughter
an
house.
Arsenal fan into the equation.
Crouchy, would you allow that?
Yeah, I don't. It all depends, really. Yeah, like we've got a United fan just come into the household, and yeah, I quite like the banter. It's quite good, you know. Like I have a bet with him every year about Ronaldo and Salah. We had that this year. We had United and Liverpool last year, which he beat me on.
That is an interesting dilemma. I reckon there'll be lots of people listening who have a family member, whether it's your daughter or your son or your sister or your brother, a family member, that has suddenly started dating someone that supports a rival team to the rest of your family.
Yeah.
And it's a tricky one, isn't it?
How did you go about things? Like, is it okay? I mean, if your daughter...
well, let's talk about you. What about your daughter? Your daughter?
No, I'll ask first. If she brought home a Luton fan, you'd be happy with that, or?
I dread the idea of that.
Do you?
Yeah, because you also know that the Luton fan boyfriend will be getting a bit of a kick out of the fact, however much shit I would give them, think about it, they ultimately
win.
So I ask you the same question. It's a real challenging one, isn't it? Like as a father-in-law, you're better, I think, to not give out too much shit. Because ultimately they have the last laugh.
The trump card.
If they really wanted to. They've got that in the back pocket, and that would be the last thing I would ever want to hear.
Oh my God. But I think if that card was played, things are going to end badly.
All right, let's get into this then. So this podcast is going to be all about that period when a new manager comes into the club. There's loads I want to find out about this Crouchy. New manager bounce, how they impress you, how you impress them.
Yeah, it certainly is. Yeah, it's a weird thing having a new manager bounce through the door. And those first impressions are so important.
Talk us through it. How does it work?
Yeah, always a strange one. Like you come in as, in your usual routine that you do with the old manager, and then you come in and sort of things are a bit different, and you're like, does feel weird. And then, you might be in the gym or something like that, and then you'll have the awkward first meet.
Does it happen as a group, or does the manager? I often see videos of managers coming in,
shaking hands. That's what usually happens. So you'll come in and he might be in there. He's usually there really early, getting used to his surroundings. He might have been in the day before as well. And then often you'll be in the gym or the physio room, or you might be doing, having a bit of breakfast upstairs, and he'll come in and you're like, here's the new manager, obviously stand up. You'll shake his hand and, you might say something about how you've been playing or about your attributes, or he might not say anything to you at all. People are trying to read into exactly what he's thinking with those first few words straight away.
Yeah, I think it's a good sign if he knows your name, because you often see on these videos, it's clear the manager knows some of the players.
I think,
I always think that can't be real, but I actually think that's how it is.
We're definitely with the analyst team, right?
But
the nerds.
Yeah, mate, it can happen to players, honestly.
Yeah.
Especially some of these foreign managers that come in, might not have watched all the games, and they might not know a player's name, unfortunately.
But it's awkward if you're stood next to someone, right? So he's like, Crouchy, Peter, great to meet you.
Yeah, bang.
And you.
And you. And what's your name? Defoe, sir. Not ideal.
Yeah, because I often think manager recruitments can sometimes feel quite last minute, can't they? And, in fairness to the manager, if you haven't had that long, if you've been doing a job interview 2 days before, as it sometimes seems, getting the job confirmed, there's only so much you can know about a club, and
it's got to be up to speed, quick. It's difficult. I mean, to take over in a different country, you won't have watched all the games, and obviously, they will have to get up to speed. They'll, people like Dave will get them loads of videos on the team, and usually if a manager's come in mid-season and so it's a new manager, and the reason for that is you're struggling. You don't replace a manager, or if they're not doing well. So. The first meeting is always quite key about how he's going to get us out of this situation, what he thinks the best way forward, and where it's been going wrong. And sometimes it can be really inspiring, and sometimes you can, walk away thinking, "Oh shit."
Do they ever do they ever shit on the manager before?
No, very rarely. I think that's sort of like manager's code a little bit. Very rarely do they say, he was dog shit, wasn't he? They'll be a little bit more diplomatic and be whatever's been going on. I think usually it's a bit of a build up. I think you've got a great group of players here. We've got a real chance if you listen into the ideas that I've got, the beliefs that I've got. If you buy into it, we'll definitely get out of trouble. And we'll move forward. But yeah, it is always interesting that first. You can see when someone's assertive and confident. I think that is the main thing with a manager. You've got to be to get the players on board. You've got to believe what you're saying, or at least make people believe what you're saying.
In that first meeting, do they talk about their philosophy?
Not always. No, that first meeting will be talking about maybe some changes that they'll make, some training ground things, and then we'll probably do quite a bit of training, stuff like that, and then we might have a meeting after training about how he wants to play and what he wants to do, and explaining things. yeah, it's always a really interesting time.
Dave, you've got the list of managers Crouchy has been at the club for their first day. So it's their first day there. Crouchy's watched as they deliver a speech. Who out of this list gave the best first speech?
So Ian Holloway.
Oh, that must have been good.
He was great.
Comedy.
Really good. No, he just he's really passionate about football, and that's one manager that I would have liked to have stuck around and played for more. I didn't spend a great deal of time with him because I left quite soon after he came in. But I loved him. I knew we'd really get on, but it was unfortunate I moved on pretty quickly. David
O'Leary next up, Aston Villa.
Yeah, like we didn't see particularly eye to eye. He came in and you could see there was a big air of confidence with him. I was one of those where he walks in and he's like, "Oh, Juan Pablo Angel, the Rias for sale." Like, all right.
Yeah.
Just like move. He moved it on very quick. I could see it wasn't part of his plan.
You got that from the first day, do you think?
Yeah.
Isn't that incredible that you...
I got that impression, yeah.
But I guess throughout your career, you've seen both sides. You've seen other players get that same treatment. And obviously, it's only right you experienced that probably at some point. But I'm really interested that it happened so quickly that you
get that
impression.
And also, like in training, like you'll see him arm around the shoulder of players, like, "Oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, like how to improve this and that." And like, I think I'm not having much dialogue here. And that's where you get it. Like you understand that, I'm not going to be his first choice.
Yeah. It's first impressions for them as well. Like, as much as we're talking about it from your side of things, it's interesting that what managers must see on their first day. And I wonder if he came into the club with a preconception of you, or in that first meeting you didn't shake his hand hard enough or something and he lost all respect for you almost immediately. There's a guy I know, sort of knew, and when you go to shake his hand, he does it really limp. And this guy is quite a successful guy, but he does it. We always wondered this. Like, a few of us wondered, like, I never liked shaking his hand because he would always just like barely hold it.
Goes through me that.
We think it might have been a power move. Like, we think it might have been because it throws you so much that you're sat there and it's like rather than going in like full on, like, bit of power, bit of strength, he throws you with the quite.
Is it a 2-finger like one?
It's just like, I'll show you what it's like. It's like that.
Oh, so it doesn't even get full committed with this.
I didn't like that at all.
No, it's not pleasant, is it?
Yeah.
But it throws you, and it wasn't one off. Like this would happen regularly.
So this is his strategy.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if either of you two have experienced this with a. I don't know if David O'Leary's come in and you've.
No, O'Leary would have a proper handshake, bit old school kind of vibes. I mean, go down them. I mean, Holloway, same. Tony Adams, as you'd expect,
crusher.
It's a knuckle crusher. Redknapp, not as strong as as you might think. Reasonably like sure of himself, but not a crusher.
Classy.
Yeah, classy. Maybe a little bit more. It's not as hard as the others, maybe.
When Tony Adams arrived first day, do you judge a manager? Do you see like what car they turn up in on that first day, or do you see?
What I think for Tony Adams, like again, he was a coach with Harry before he sort of took over, and when Harry left, and then obviously the thing with Tony was, as a player, I think it might have been slightly different to how he was as a manager a bit. Obviously, I had the utmost respect for him because as a player, for me, I would say he was the hardest centre-half I ever played against. The only, on the flip side of that, was obviously his first team talk. I can't remember who we played, but I remember we were all sitting there and it's a bit of a lottery. He's been a coach, but like, what's his actual opinion of the team? So usually we had the team, we knew what Harry would pick, and then it's obviously
cool.
And everyone's sitting there, and actually all the players are in. So he's got the whole squad, and it's just before the game, an hour and a half before kickoff. And he came in and he gave a really rousing sort of Tony Adams speech, as you'd expect, and then sort of burst back out through the door, and everyone went. That was like, I'm up for it. That was big. It was a great first sort of speech, and then we all looked over and went, "He hasn't named the team, has he?"
So what happened at that point? Did you pick the team?
No, we all just sort of looked around and went like, no one knew how to get changed, or there was a few like that wouldn't be in the squad because it was too many for the whole squad. So we all just went. So we just sat there for another sort of like 20 seconds looking around going, oh. And then there was, after he'd slammed the door, there was a bit of a sheepish,
No.
and came back in and went, I've named the team there, have I?
You just know he's regretted, like, it's gone so perfect, hasn't
It
it?
went really well. And then it was like, he was going, oh, bollocks. And then I reckon he probably discussed it with his team. Should I go back in there? Or what he should have done, I think, is send the assistant in. As if that's what he does, and then stick with that. You know, for like the rest of the season, it would have been like, he does this speech, he goes out, bang, he's gone, and then the assistant...
A messenger.
Yeah, like as if that's beneath him, the team.
Yeah.
I think he did come back in though, and we did know he got it wrong.
So he had fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that I think, like, at the moment there's a chink in anyone's armour, players are on it. Like, they are on it, like, straight away. Anyone, that's what I think. I think I've heard Pep saying it. Even if you don't know the answer, say an answer and make it sure that they think it's right.
That would have been an amazing style of management that actually does a rousing speech. And then the sort of experiment or the gimmick of it is that you are left as a squad to decide your best team. So as a management...
That's very, very good.
Yeah, as a management idea is like, these guys...
Laissez-faire.
Yeah.
That's good.
Like, let them, like, fight it out. Who's going to be the 11 that come out?
Yeah, but then that is a representation of you as the manager. So, like, if you're on the sideline there, you've done that, which I think is a great idea. Like, let them sort it out, pick a team. And then when you're on the sideline there and you see the team and you go, oh, not him.
Yeah.
Piece of shit.
Wouldn't it be great is as the team walk out the tunnel, that's the first time the manager sees who's
the team,
playing.
yeah.
And then their job is to just manage from there on in.
Just manage.
Yeah. Because it's always assumed the manager should pick the team, but actually maybe there's an argument here that someone else, including the players, should decide what the best team is that week. And then it's the manager's job to manage.
I like that though, but I feel like you know, it's one of those mad sort of situations. Like, if you're down the bottom of the league, something crazy that needs to be done just to get them out of this rock bottom that they're in. Go in and say, right, lads, you know the team's better than me. You know each other better.
What's
than
going on in your personal lives and everything.
I feel like that could work. I feel like
It'd be amazing to try.
Honestly, I feel like that because you'd be like, right, because you wouldn't want to. You wouldn't want to lose, would you? If you go, right, this is on you now. Like, good luck. I'm going to walk out. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to help you, but it's on you.
Yeah.
I think that psychology could work.
And then the stadium announcer is announcing the team, and manager's there clapping along, going like, brilliant. And JMO's put himself up front again, that kind of thing. Like, it's a new goalie. It's like, I never thought of that myself. Like, didn't know they had it in their locker. Good. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure, what team that you played for do you think that would have actually worked potentially?
Well, that spell at Portsmouth, right after Harry, we had Paul Hart, we had Tony Adams. It was a difficult period and they had loads of characters in that dressing room. I think it could have worked there.
Would you have made it into the team?
Yeah, I was playing well then. I think I'd have been playing.
Yeah.
So Crouchy, we chatted before about players judging the new manager. How quick is that? Is that first training session, first team talk?
Yeah, I think everyone wants to believe it's good. It's a good appointment. So there is probably, listen, everyone has that prejudgment. And, the first meeting is obviously very important. First training session is really important. First game is obviously the most important. And I think you do give them, a bit of time, and you want to believe it, but there is warning signs sometimes if you don't believe in what they're saying.
Do you remember you told us about Gerrard? So when a new player would come in, he would just nail balls at the player, and it was a like sink or swim situation. And you saw players fall apart in that first training session. Do you, as a team or individually, ever try and challenge the manager just on that first training session? A similar way Stevie G did with breaking in new players. Do you try and sort of just nibble a little bit or just pick at the manager?
No, I don't think so. I think there's you can't do that. I think first day, the level of training goes up. I think that's why they do it, mid-season. Like there's that new manager effect where they come in and the level of training goes up. Everyone like wants to be in the gym and everyone's trying to impress. Everyone's eating the right things. Everyone's staying late. It's a clean slate for everyone. So, you would be foolish to start nitpicking at the manager.
You do hear of the new manager bounce. It's a phrase bandied around quite a lot. Statistically, Dave, is it a thing?
Yes. So I've done 5 seasons, looked at 37 managerial changes in the Premier League. So when you look through the data, out of the 37, 30 of those cases, they average more points per game in the next 5 games than they did in the previous X amount in the season. So yes, big effect. 81% of the time, it has an impact.
But that's often what that's what you're describing as effectively just a kick up the arse, as in people are eating well, training as they should. Like, it's not the magician new manager, is it?
No, I mean, training goes up. It's like, it's just if you get a new boss, for instance, at work, like, you're in on time, aren't you, that first day? Like, without doubt. It's those first impressions. You are, working harder. It's just human nature, unfortunately. Like, you should be, you should look in the mirror and you should work as hard as you possibly can every single day. Like, but it's human nature to, when someone new comes in, to want to impress them more. Unfortunately, I think.
So it's not, it's called the new manager bounce, isn't it? But actually, do you think the manager's getting credit for something that isn't really?
Sometimes, sometimes I think. But like sometimes you get stuck in a rut, and like fresh ideas and something new is a good thing. You get. It's the same with relationships. You might, there might be people out there that you're stuck in one that's just, you can get by, but it's not great, and then you get a fresh new one.
A new relationship bounce.
And the new relationship bounce. You know what I mean? It's like,
what does that mean? Well, you suddenly start wearing nicer clothes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, shave your pubes, that kind of thing. Like,
you know what I'm saying? It's exactly right. You've gone like, you're wearing a trackie, then you go, like, you're not even going out anymore. You're like, oh, let's just watch Britain's Got Talent. Now you can, and you've got a suit on. You're at a new restaurant, the Barnett's good. Shade of shave. As you say, the pubes are all gone.
Yeah. It makes sense.
I just wanted to say, statistically, everything you're saying, Crouchy's bang on, that you tend to see because managers get sacked at the bottom of the performance of the club. So statistically, you're going to shave those pubes and you're going to be on the up.
Yeah. 10 hogs come in, new pubes, everything. They're all just...
We get any stats on new relationship bounce?
Yeah.
We'll have a look next week. If you want to send in to the email address.
Yeah, it's peter.crouch@acast.com.
And then we could start building that up if we can get around 37, situations of new relationships.
I definitely got a new relationship bounce when I started seeing my now wife. Suddenly I was getting but a lot of it was from her side as well. She was a great manager. She came in and she sort of started getting me nice clothes for Christmas.
Did you say your wife was a great manager?
Just like, no, what I mean is she was buying me nice clothes, and at the time I thought, oh, it's a nice present and all. But actually, I think she was just trying to sort of tidy me up a little bit.
Do you think she came in and went, she saw a diamond in the rough?
I think that's exactly what it was.
I think that's what Ab did with me. Like, she thought, sometimes you can't polish a turd, but I think she saw something in me and thought, actually, I can improve him from a 5 to a 6.
And how was she as a manager? It was immediate impact.
There was an immediate impact. Yeah. The strangled pumas went. The half-mast jeans were gone.
Yeah.
My Lyle & Scott jumpers that were too big for me in the bin. Yeah. And things improved.
Did you feel physically fitter with the new manager?
Yeah, I did. I felt like I was, in a good place. I felt more confidence. He gave me more confidence, or she did.
I'm sure it did. You were performing.
I got more confident.
Yeah. Well, that's great to hear. And a much different experience to David O'Leary.
Yeah, similar. I mean, listen, I don't think anyone's got the new relationship No one's been O'Leary'd on the first date, surely.
One of the managers we got on the list is Mark Hughes. He came into Stoke and tried to change the style from Tony Pulis. What was that like?
This is like a difficult one for someone to do. Like we actually, as players, we felt we had a good group now, and we felt like we didn't have to play the way we were playing. We felt like we could adapt a little bit. So it was quite welcome, really, in the end, the appointment of Mark Hughes. And then when he came in, it felt good. It was difficult to do straight away. Obviously, we needed to sign maybe 2 or 3 more players, but that was a management change that really did work. Like the first sort of 3 years, I think we ended up sort of changing styles, but it became more enjoyable. We brought more quality, and there was a period where we had really good players. We had that old school mentality, and I think we finished 9th or in the top 10, 3 seasons on the spin. We did really, really well. And then obviously we've discussed in the relegation episode, things went too far the other way. But yeah, it was good. And what Mark Hughes did was actually, I thought was really interesting, was at the start of the season, he put up like a slideshow, and it was like basically like each month, the fixture list in that month, right? So say you had Arsenal, you might have Burnley, Villa, and Man United, right, in that year. So you got those 4 games. And he would say, how many points would you take from that month? And we'd all guess. We'd usually overestimate what was written down. So he would say something like 3 points from that game, from all those 4 games, right? That would be a realistic, what he thinks will happen in that game. You go,
was it
what?
realistic, or was he being pessimistic?
No,
or?
it felt like it was being pessimistic for that. So you might say 4 points, like a win and a draw out of those 4 games. And you go, well, no, hold on, we can win 3 of that, because you're always you think sort of over guess. So we're all going, oh yeah, we'll get 9 points from that. We'll get 8 points from that. And he said, no, we'll get 4. And then he tots it all up. And then the whole season, and then we thought, wow, he's undershot this massively. And then the total points will come up, and it will be sort of the top 8 finish statistically for the season. And you go, whoa, all those games are, like every month it felt was low. And then you tot it up at the end of the season, you think, like, that is doable.
Was he cooking the books there, Dave?
And that makes you think, it makes you think, God, we can have a good season. It gets you think, actually, like, don't have to win that many to have a really, really good season.
Doesn't that make you complacent?
No, I think it made you, like, believe.
It puts a connection in your mind, right? Because we all perceive that you've got to win every game, that you're gonna win the league or so forth. But around that mid-table mark, like you're saying, if you pick 4 points up from a really tough month, that's 4 points that, let's say, your rivals are not going to do. So I think it's an interesting thing. It's like bringing it round. So Mark didn't really go down the line of being like, we want to play out from the back, we want to play more football, but it was more like, here's a carrot. This is what you guys can achieve.
Yeah, and like, we worked on things in training, like, straight away, centre halves were splitting from the goalkeeper. We were playing out, and rather than straight away we're up at the halfway line and we're hitting me. We were playing out from the back, and we got players. So Mark Muniasia came in, and he was comfortable on the ball as a centre half. I thought getting rid of Robert Hoof was far too early. I mean, he proved that. He went to Leicester and won the Premier League. He wasn't comfortable, or as comfortable on the ball. So I was gutted when he left, because he was a great defender. He just didn't suit the way that Mark Hughes wanted to play. And then, we got good midfielders. We had Nzonzi, Glenn Whelan, players that could play in there. It was good. And obviously Marko Nautovic was a big signing for us, and we kicked on from there. But he implemented a new style, and it worked really, really well for 2-3 seasons. And then, like I say, he lost the characters, and I think we went too far the other way. But it was interesting, him coming in and developing a completely new style to how we played before. Chris, have you got any messages about new managers or anything?
Yeah, we've got a couple actually. Got a message here from Tom. It says, Ashley Cole was pictured wrapped up in a towel after Everton faced Palace at the end of the season. Is it normal for coaches to shower after matches? What a question.
Interesting question, yes. I think Ash was probably, he's only just come out of the game, hasn't he? And I think he's still feeling that kind of player scenario. But yeah, it wouldn't be abnormal for coaches. Quite often the suit managers stay in the suit after. So like a Harry, I wouldn't see a Harry in the shower after, or a Roy Hodgson, for instance.
But it would be weird because they haven't played. So surely you're having a shower because you've been playing. Like, isn't it just a bit
No, but
weird?
if you've been at work,
the manager would be like, I'll join in as well for the crack. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
No, but you know, like if you've been at work, like you might come home and have a bath or a shower after work. Like
Maybe. I don't think I don't finish a radio show and then we all jump in the shower. Like, it's kind of weird enough that like you're doing it because you played. Like, for a manager to have been stood on the sidelines and then to take off their suit or tracksuit and jump in the shower, it just feels it's a bit like, why are you doing that? Like, wait till you're home.
I don't know. I mean, like,
You don't think that's weird?
No, I don't. Listen, sometimes, have you seen the managers on the side like getting pissed on for like the whole game? Or, you know, they're stressed out and sweating and hot. Like, you know, there's showers there. They're waiting around. Why not?
But surely the last thing you'd want, right, as a manager, if this team has been winding you up, they're not following the instructions, is to strip down naked and go into the changing room and have a shower with you.
You know what?
I would have my own shower other end of the ground.
Quite often now, the stadiums, the brand new stadiums, have a coach's room with showers in, totally separate from the players. Which I agree. I think the players' showers should be the players' showers, and I think the coach's showers should be the manager's showers. And I think they have that now. The refs have their own
sections. It's just the idea everyone needs to have a shower. Like, it's just, I know it happens at football, but it's just a bit weird, isn't it? It's like everyone associated with the coach driver comes in, puts himself in there as well. Like, it just doesn't seem like...
Well, I've seen, like, you know, the masseur, like, usually they wait to the end, but the masseurs and the physios and that.
Clearly I'm in the wrong. It just seems... It's just the idea everyone piles in. It's just what you do, isn't it?
The next time you're on the radio, Chris, you'd be like, right, lads, we're going to have a shower.
I don't understand what's wrong with it, though.
No, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just...
They've not played, right,
I'm not
Chris?
against it.
You're not against it. You just think it's a bit strange. Is it a bit like having pants provided for you? Like, we got into that before. I think something that you don't do at Radio 1, for instance.
There's not many workplaces.
Is it not Radio 1 shower? Like, can you not? So after you go, cool, that was a good one. That we had as a great. But Scott goes to you. Cool, well done today. Let's go for a shower.
Right, quick shower, and then let's go to the pub. So, all right, but then it would make some sense. If you're going straight
out after a day's work, can you not have a Radio 1 shower?
Yeah,
and
so
then
me and
go
Scott
out?
jump in the shower, right? We've just done a great radio show, really happy with it.
Yeah.
We jump in the shower. But by your analogy then, my boss comes over from the other side, jumps in as well. You know, a couple of the techie guys that have been like, they come in.
Yeah, the sound guy, Chris, great show today, mate.
And we all just shower together.
Yeah, what is wrong with that? I don't get it.
I don't know. Clearly I'm seeing this wrong, but it's just
camaraderie.
That's great.
It's true, actually. Comparing the football world and the real world is... it's quite different. When you came in, right? You came into Radio 1, you and Scott Mills, and you had a little... you had a rolled up towel with kit in it, right?
Yeah.
And a pair of and you all just came in, you and Scott, and then you just got changed. You got your own pants.
Yeah, our pants are out there for us. We both get changed together.
Get your kit and all that. And then you get a strap in, get a massage, and then you go straight into your show. You have a really good show, and then you have a shower together, and your boss comes in and tells you how well you played.
What a life.
It's strange.
Good.
All right.
That was amazing.
I have to say, lads, I really enjoyed the pod today. I have to thank everyone who's been in touch, contributing and passing the pod. We'll be back stronger with the next episode.
Chumbawamba,
everyone.